Welcome. Thank you for your interest in the program. Teaching is a really fantastic profession, and I'm so glad you're interested in it. And New York State needs a lot of teachers in the coming years, so there is a big demand. Um, thanks for your interest, and we need you. So I'll be here to answer any questions either now or in the future.
Thanks, Brett. And my name's Alyssa Yesko. I'm the director of the Pathways into Education Center. Um, our office, we sort of like oversee and advise on all of the programs in the School of Education. So we are a really great place to start if you have any questions. And a lot of times we can answer them, or we can help you find the person who is able to answer them. So let's jump right in. Before I go over specifics about the program, I do like to do a quick overview on certification in New York State, and what it takes to become a teacher from a certification standpoint. So, in New York State, you need both initial and professional teacher certification. Initial certification can be obtained at either the undergraduate or graduate level. I'm seeing on this slide that I have listed that you can only obtain it at the graduate level at UAlbany, which has recently changed. We do now offer both undergraduate and graduate programs leading to teacher certification as of this fall 2024 semester. Initial certification includes specific coursework that is specified by New York State Education Department, student teaching, exams, workshops, fingerprinting. So there's a bunch of components that contribute um, to teacher certification. All teachers in New York State, after they earn initial certification, then have to earn professional certification. In order to do that, they obviously first have to have initial, but then they have to earn a master's degree, have 3 years of paid full-time teaching experience, and they have to earn professional certification within 5 years of earning initial. The nice thing about pursuing your initial certification at the master's level is that you will have the master's that you need for professional certification when you graduate, so that when you finish the master's in secondary education, you only need to teach for 3 years full time to obtain your professional certification. That certification is permanent, and lasts you through your entire career. Um, all right, so I think Dr. Levy mentioned teachers are needed. So the job outlook for teachers. Jobs as elementary school teachers are projected to grow about 7% through 2030, and jobs as high school teachers are projected to grow about 8% through 2030. Um, We're in what's considered a teacher shortage. In New York State, state officials estimate that New York will need 180,000 new teachers in the next decade. So could be you guys, right? Um, all areas are needed. Really, that's just true. Uh, some areas that are highlighted by New York State include special ed, English as a second language, science, math, English, social studies, um, a lot of areas within the master's in secondary education. So certainly a high demand. Our program is an opportunity for students who do not already hold initial teacher certification. So if you didn't earn your teacher certification at the undergraduate level, this is the perfect program for you. The program is most typically completed full time, and it provides initial certification and the master's needed for professional certification to teach a secondary subject area for grades 7 through 12. There are specific admissions requirements for the program, specifically for each content area, which I'll talk about in just a little bit. Typically, it includes 36 credits in your subject area, so 36 credits in English, 36 credits in math, with some more specific requirements for certain subject areas, specifically social studies and the sciences. The content areas that UAlbany offers certification in are our sciences, so biology, chemistry, earth science, and physics, as well as English, French, mathematics, social studies, and Spanish. The MSSE coursework is typically a 42 credit program with 12 credits in the foundations of education, 3 credits in technology and media, 3 credits in literacy, 6 credits in your specific content area, and then 18 credits of methods and field experiences, including your student teaching. I mentioned those prerequisites for the different content areas for the master's in secondary education. So for most subject areas, if that was your major, you likely have most, if not all, of the required credits to enter the program. But I mentioned the sciences and social studies being slightly different. So in the sciences, you have to have a major in the sciences or 36 credits with credits in each of the additional sciences. So 3 credits in chemistry, earth science, and physics if you're interested in biology. For social studies, there are some requirements in some of the additional social sciences beyond history. History is a common major for students entering that program. Doesn't have to be a history major, but it does require 20 run credits of history and geography of both the US and world, credits in political science or government, credits in economics, and then additional credits in social sciences. So if you had questions about those requirements, we can provide a little bit of guidance. But like I said, a lot of times having a major can get you most, if not all, of those credits. Here is a view of the master's in secondary education as far as what the timeline looks like. And we don't have to go over all of this in great depth, but I think it's nice to sometimes know what your time in the program would look like. So in your first summer, you're typically taking 1 to 2 courses. And then in the fall, you're taking additional courses, typically 3 or 4, along with 100 hours of observation in a school. So you're actually in a school as early as that first fall semester, learning about what it's like to be a teacher. In the spring, you start your part-time student teaching in a middle school and take additional coursework over the second summer. And then in the final fall semester, you have your full-time student teaching in a high school. There's a bunch of other components of the program listed here, workshops, exams, things like that. The great news is you have an advisor and to sort of walk you through all of those additional steps during your time in the program. I don't know if we have any UAlbany students here who are current undergrads, but I do like to mention the Great Dane Teacher Pathway, which is a combined bachelor's master's for UAlbany students that allows you to apply early. So you apply in your junior year to the master's in secondary education, and you begin taking graduate level courses that count toward the master's in secondary education or the MSSE. Um, a lot of times those courses can double count. So graduate level courses can count toward um, both the MSSE and your undergraduate degree. And it allows you to sort of lighten up your course load during your time in the master's program. So just some benefits of the combined program. You save money by paying undergraduate tuition for graduate level courses during your senior year. Helps to ease the transition to graduate school. You find out very early, like in your junior year, whether you're admitted to the master's program. You do not need to apply again. You receive support guiding you through the courses that you'll need on this pathway, and you will graduate with all of the educational requirements needed for teacher certification once you finish the master's program. So in this, for at UAlbany to do the combined program, you have to have a major in one of the content areas listed here. And you, like I mentioned, you'll apply in your junior year to begin taking graduate courses in your senior year. This allows you to either take summers off or lighten your semester coursework during your time once you enter the MSSE full-time. Some frequently asked questions about the program. Um, how long does the program typically take? It lasts about 16 to 18 months, beginning in either the summer or fall semester. Typically, it's 5 continuous semesters, including summers, with your last semester focused on full-time student teaching. I will say, an 18-month master's program is it's pretty unique in itself, and the fact that this one leads to teacher certification is a huge bonus. It's certainly faster than some other master's programs, but very comprehensive, and manageable. So some students are like, whoa, 18 months for a master's degree. We structure this program in a way that you're able to move through it with your cohort in a manageable way, but still earn that teacher certification in 18 months. Can I complete the program part-time? So this is a question that we get a lot. The program is designed to be completed full-time, sort of in the order that I mentioned earlier. It could be possible to complete some of the coursework that happens at the beginning of the program part-time. However, the program itself is a sequenced program where certain courses precede others. So if you were to do that, it would certainly prolong your time in the program. There's also times where it's not possible to be a part-time student, for example, when you're doing your full-time student teaching. So, full-time student teaching is typically all, 5 days a week during the school hours. So, it's not necessarily a part-time program when it gets to that point. Um, so that is something that you would have to work out with an advisor, and see if that's a possibility for you. What if I don't have all of the necessary prerequisite credits for my content area? So I want to teach English, but I only have 18 credits of English right now. So we recommend that students take the additional coursework as they prepare for and apply to the program. So take the courses as a non-degree student. We typically recommend that students take a good variety of coursework in that content area. So we like to see upper division coursework. So not just taking all those 100 level courses that you can find. We want to see that you can succeed in advanced level undergraduate coursework in your content area. And sometimes it can be helpful to look at courses that are required for a major in that content area, if you didn't major in that content area, to see what types of courses are typically required. Students can apply with a 9 credit deficiency, with the understanding that those courses would have to be completed during their time in the MSSE in order to graduate. We don't typically conduct full transcript reviews prior to enrollment, but we can certainly provide some guidance when needed. How and when are courses offered? We get the question a lot about whether this is a fully online program. It is not a fully online program. There may be some online courses sprinkled throughout, depending on who's teaching a course in a given semester. Dr. Leva, can you confirm, are most of the summer courses offered online?
The major summer courses are offered online. Yes, the three that are primarily taken during the summer. One of them can also be taken in the winter. Um, there's also a fall course that tends to be an online course, but most of them are blended courses.
Thank you. Most of the courses where there is a set meeting time are offered in the early evenings, especially when our students are in their student teaching placements. That just makes sense because they're busy during the day. I think I went over the sample course sequence, but this is just another example of how the courses usually fall when you're moving through the program. In what ways can I fund my graduate studies? So this is a question that we get a lot. I do typically defer to financial aid because it's not my area of expertise. I can't advise on students' unique situations, but there are university-wide scholarships that financial aid can talk to you about. There are also School of Education specific scholarships. These are scholarships that are offered every year, and it's a smaller application pool because you're applying against the, other students in the School of Education, not the entire university. Um, they are donor based, so they might not cover the entire cost of tuition, but every little bit helps. And you can apply for them each and every year that you're in the program. I think there's like about 30 that we offer, and you would be able to check off all of the ones that you're eligible for, and then submit just one application for multiple scholarships. Again, the Office of Financial Aid is very helpful regarding tuitions, fees, and payment plans. Information for applicants. So application requirements include transcripts from all schools attended, 3 letters of recommendation with at least 2 from professors, a 3.0 GPA or higher with a 3.2 required for students interested in the combined bachelor's master's, a statement of goals, of background and goals, and then again, those like prerequisite course credit requirements for your content areas. Deadlines for the fall or summer are December 31st and March 1st. It's not that one deadline is for the fall and one deadline is for the summer. You can apply to start in either term with either deadline, and you would be contacted for an interview if the admissions committee wishes to pursue your application further. So transcripts. If you've already attended UAlbany, you don't need to request your transcripts. They should have them on file. We get the question asked all the time. Are you only looking at my GPA from my most recent institution? No, we're going to look at your GPA for across all institutions and levels. You can upload an unofficial transcript for your application, but they would need an official transcript once you enroll. And then transcripts can either be mailed or emailed to the graduate school. I'm going to pull up, they have a really helpful they have a lot of information on the graduate school's website that can be really helpful when it comes to deciding or to figuring out how to submit all of the different application materials. So I'm going to put this link in the chat just because it's very helpful. And it basically gives you information on how to use the application portal and then instructions for all of the different application materials. So for transcripts, it gives you the address where you would need to send it or the email address. So really helpful information if you are going through the online application process.
Alyssa, we have a question in the chat about waiving the fees for the application. So I don't know if you know the answer to that
Sure. So the graduate school actually handles application fee waivers. I'm putting the graduate school's email address in the chat. There are certain circumstances where they will allow for an application fee waiver, but they handle those entirely.
Yeah, so it's definitely worth asking, Safian. Go for it. Give them an email. Hopefully they'll help you out.
For letters of recommendation, those are submitted directly through the online application portal where you would provide contact information for your recommenders. Those recommenders would receive an email from the application portal where they can click a link and submit a letter on your behalf, which would be uploaded to your application. We recommend that letters of recommendation be specific to the program that you're applying to whenever possible. So let your recommenders know I'm applying to a program where I could be an English teacher for middle and high school students. The letters of recommendation from professors. So I mentioned that we prefer that 2 letters of recommendation come from professors. Hold on just one moment. We get questions about this a lot, right? So we request letters of recommendation to speak to your academic capabilities and potential for success at the graduate level. It can be helpful to hear from professors in your content area. So if you're hoping to teach mathematics, some mathematics professors who have taught you in the classroom. The additional recommender can be a professional reference. And we do get the question, I've been out of school for 10 years. I don't have contact with my professors anymore. What can I do? We can use professional references, but you should still ask them to speak to the characteristics or skills that would make you a successful graduate student or highlight your academic potential. I would not recommend this for someone who recently graduated. That might raise some questions about what, if you graduated last year, why are we not able to hear from any of your professors? I recommend that you give the people who will be writing your letters plenty of notice. Just as someone who writes letters of recommendation for students, it can be helpful to know well in advance and to have a hard deadline of when you'd like it submitted. So if you plan to submit for the December 31st deadline, I recommend reaching out now and telling your recommender that you'd like the letter by December 15th. That way you can submit the letter or your application without worry that your recommendations are there or not. Your statement of goals and the written components of your application. For us, we use those to determine your fit for the program, what can you offer the program, and also to evaluate your writing skills. For you, this is a chance to talk about yourself, right? Highlight your background and skills and what you hope to get out of the program. Why did you choose our program? Why do you want to teach these grade levels? Why do you want to teach this subject area? This is a chance to talk about, basically why are you pursuing this program and what are you hoping to do? It should be purposeful and to the point, typically 1 to 2 pages. Do your research on the program that you're applying to. There are lots of helpful online resources that can help you write a statement of goals. Your current institution's career center can also be really helpful and provide some resources. Some more information, if you haven't already visited the program page for the Master's in Secondary Education, this is what that looks like. There's lots of information here. You can click here on the graduate bulletin, which provides information on, again, those requirements for each of the subject areas here, and the program of study, so the types of courses that you would be taking. Um, it also has on the program page the deadlines and required application materials. So lots of helpful information there. Um, and you can also reach out to the Pi Center, that's my office, if you have any additional questions. So like I said, we provide information to our prospective students. We are here in Catskill 101. If you're on campus, we are here by phone. We can also set up a Zoom meeting with you. But we are also really responsive to our emails. So however it's best for you to get in touch with us, please do. Let's see. We had someone ask if it was possible to start the program as an undergrad without the 3.2 GPA. So if you were interested in the combined program, it's actually a university-wide requirement that any student pursuing a combined bachelor's master's program has that 3.2 minimum GPA. If you're not quite there yet, it's okay, and it might be a better option for you to apply when you're a senior. That would require a 3.0 minimum GPA and can also give you a little bit more time to work on increasing your GPA. But that's something, if you needed to talk with us further about where you're at right now, you can always reach out. And sort of to piggyback off that question, one of the pre-submitted questions was when do you have to be declared for the 5-year plan? So I always like to point out that our combined bachelor's master's is not a 5-year program. It technically takes 5.5 years. The master's in secondary education has a graduation date in December. So it's about a 1.5-year program, regardless of whether you do the combined program or not. You would graduate in that December. That just has to do with where the student teaching is placed within the program. But what you have to do to be declared for that is, in your junior year, you have to have declared one of the required majors, and you have to have that 3.2 minimum GPA, and you have to submit an online application to the Master's in Secondary Education by the deadlines. So it's the same application procedures as a typical graduate student, same deadlines, same requirements. You would just check a box on the online application that you are a current UAlbany undergraduate student applying to a combined program. The second question is, what should you be doing over the summer to improve your resume? Brett, is that something that you can speak on?
Yeah. So let me circle back to something Alyssa said. So the combined program first does not allow you to finish any faster. It just allows you to double count some credits for your undergraduate degree and your graduate degree. So it can save you some money, which is nice, and it can reduce the coursework that you have to do as a graduate student, but it doesn't have you finish your degree any faster. So if you don't have a 3.2 GPA, our program still could be a great fit for you. So just consider applying when the time is right. And when it comes to what you can do to improve your likelihood of admission, I really suggest going beyond coursework and getting experience in the classroom. So that could mean working at a summer camp or tutoring or coaching or assisting at a summer school, volunteering, working with young people. We really love to see on applications descriptions of experiences. Your academics matter. We want you to know things. We want you to be skilled in your academic area, but we also want you to really know that teaching is the right profession for you, and also that you have some experience that you can draw on when you're in our courses. I'm teaching courses in the program, and when I'm teaching my students about, the interactions that they will have as teachers, it's nice if they have had some sort of experience to draw on, some sort of schema for, misunderstandings that students might have, or, you know, just distractions that students might have, activities, personalities, just different types of people that you're going to be working with, as a teacher, and what it's like to think as a teacher and a leader as opposed to thinking as a student and a peer. So working in an educational setting, even if it's informal, like as a coach, or as a camp counselor, just something a little more laid back than like a structured, school environment, that's all very helpful. So that's what I would recommend, if you have some time to do that during a summer break.
Thank you. Also a similar question. Someone also asked about good clubs to join for the major.
Yeah, I think you have some ideas for clubs. There's one that you just told me about in the human development major, right?
Yeah, so the Human Development Club here at UAlbany is a really awesome club that is for people not just in the human development major, right? So people hear human development club, I'm not a human development major. Am I still someone who could benefit from this club? Absolutely. So this club sets you up with a lot of volunteer opportunities, professional development opportunities. So I think it's a great idea to and the human development is the only club within the School of Education, so a great way to get connected with us here in the School of Ed. But there also might be some clubs that are specific to your major. So having a greater depth and understanding and involvement with your content area. So I don't know if there's some type of club for English or math majors, but sort of involving yourself in that way to become more immersed in your content area can certainly be helpful. I'm not familiar with all of the clubs and organizations on campus, but any clubs or organizations where, as Dr. Levy mentioned, um, where you're able to interact with young children or children in this grade range, so grades 7 to 12, adolescents. If there are any clubs that allow for that, or even you know, uh, big brother, big sister type programs, that can also be really helpful. Uh,
Hmm.
I think that
Hmm.
those are all great.
Yeah, I think even working with younger students would be fine. I mean, it's good. It is helpful if you have some experience with students at ages 12 to 18, but also working with young students, young children, does put you in that leadership role and gives you some experience, holding the space. That's something I work on with my students when it comes to moving from being a student to being a teacher. You're a leader. Now, you don't have to be like a sage on a stage. I'm trying to teach people to be more guides on the side, curriculum developers. Like the learning comes first, ahead of the, leadership. But you need that also. You need to be able to hold the space and say, we here's what we are doing together, and really be a leader, and that can come from experiences working with people from any age, and also being a leader among your peers also. So I do recommend being involved in things outside of the classroom, and there is a math club. I'm almost positive there's a math club. I think I went to the math club last year to talk about this program, and I'm not sure about other kinds of specialty areas, but areas, just being part of a club outside of the classroom is a great way to connect with peers, learn about your content area more, and talk about professions in that area, which could be useful for you as a teacher too, right? Like if you end up as a science teacher, being part of a science club of some sort where you might be headed towards teaching, but your peers might be headed towards a different area where they can use their science degrees. That Knowing those people well, understanding their trajectories could be useful for you in guiding your future students. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. We had another great question. I'm a music major. They want to stay here at UAlbany for post grad. Is there an option for them? Unfortunately, at UAlbany, we don't have a program that certifies in music education at this time. I have helped many students who are interested in teaching in subject areas that we don't offer here through the Masters in Secondary Education, like music, like art, in helping them to find the right program for them. So if this is you, and you're still here, please feel free to stop by my office and I can sort of talk you through how to find the correct program for someone who didn't earn their certification at the undergraduate level but is looking to do so at the master's level. And then we had a question about funding for international students. So a couple of things about that. We do have financial aid would be the best place to go. And there's also an Office of International Student Scholar Services where they might be able to speak more to what's available specifically for international students. However, there are certain international student requirements as far as their status and citizenship. On whether or not they're eligible for the master's in secondary education. So if this is you, please reach out to us. And I'm going to put my email in the chat. This is for you to reach out for any reason, really. Uh, the Pi Center email if you had more questions about that. Now we have a couple of people still here. Do we have any questions from anyone who's here with us?
Hi, I had a question actually.
Yeah.
So does this only, I know it's all about like New York State teachers. What happens if you wanted to teach somewhere else? Is that applicable or what?
That's a great question. And it's actually something that we work with all the time. So this program does lead to New York State teacher certification, but students who graduate from our programs move to other states all the time. There is no reciprocity between states where it's like, when I move there, I'm automatically certified. And that's because each state has their own Department of Education, and that department creates the teacher certification requirements. I will say New York State has some of the most stringent certification requirements for their teachers. And so essentially what you would do is when you move to a different state, you would apply for certification in that new state. They would review your credentials, so what you did in our program, and then determine whether the things that you have done meet their requirements for certification. And a lot of times that involves us filling out some type of form for you stating, and I actually just did one this morning, stating that you completed a teacher preparation program that leads to certification in New York State. And then the state that you're in would review that. So that's sort of how that process works. And it's something that I do regularly. We have someone who's the music major. Yeah, oh, sorry. I'm sorry, Alex. Yeah, I've talked to you. I thought I recognized your name about the music major. Unfortunately, there haven't been any changes about our offerings. But hopefully the guidance that I gave you on finding those programs can be helpful. Do we have any other questions from anyone else? Or Dr. Levy, well, if there aren't any questions, is there anything that you'd like to add?
I wish we had a music ed program, but there goes Alex. You
Oh,
can, I have my instruments here behind
I
me.
see it. I see it. Is it a guitar? Is that what you have?
Well, that's a ukulele and
Ukulele. Okay, I can't tell. I
and
can't tell the
my
scale.
guitar's
Okay,
right
there we
there.
go.
Yeah, yeah, and I have drums over here. So, but unfortunately, we don't. Oh, Alex
Oh,
just came
she's
back after right after
back.
I was talking. Um, yeah, there was a question about Alex. I just offered my support to you. I really wish you good luck. Music teachers are, they help to shape my life. You can see my instruments back here. So, you know, all the support to music teachers that I wish we could do more here, but hopefully you'll find your way soon to support young people and their artistic pursuits and passions, because it makes our lives, just better.
Yeah, sorry, I sort of like dipped and then I realized I was like, oh wait, they're still talking.
That's okay. That's all right.
It's
Sorry.
okay.
We had a question about adding a CGS and how that would help your resume. So a CGS, and I believe you're talking about Lily, the certificate of graduate study that's listed on our website. Is that correct? Yes. Okay. So, a certificate of graduate study, we offer a few here. These are low credit bearing programs. So typically somewhere from 12 to 15 credits in a specialized area. And a lot of times they're used specifically for professional development. So there are times where you might, I believe the case is you might be able to make more money if you have more graduate credits beyond your master's. Is that true, Brett? I don't know for sure.
I don't know either.
I think
I
it
mean,
depends on the
people, yeah, if
district that
people
you're
can do it
in.
when they have like like a master's degree plus 30, I think gets you. I think different districts have different pay scales,
Okay.
but a lot of times people are coming here for doctorates, and or getting close to a doctorate, and it's getting them pay increases, significant pay increases depending on the scale that their district has.
But the CGSs that we offer don't lead to additional New York State teacher certification. So they really are for true professional development. So, for example, we have one in online learning and teaching, certainly applicable as there is a lot of technology in the classroom. Thinking just back to a few years ago when a lot of things moved online during COVID, certainly a helpful skill to have. Um, you were looking into the CGS and Africana studies. So that would just allow you to have a little bit more specialized knowledge in that area. So if you were looking to be a social studies teacher, it would just give you a little bit more knowledge in that area. So it is truly professional development. Um, and that's sort of what the CGS programs are meant for. Just like you're interested in this subject and you want to learn more, it gives you a credential to put on your resume to show I have this knowledge. And yeah. We do also have, which I want to mention, programs that lead to certification for anybody who's interested in becoming a leader in their school district. So after you become a teacher, if you're interested in becoming a principal or a superintendent, um, we do have programs for students who are looking into that. Those are our advanced graduate certificates, and that would be something for later down the line, but something I'd just like to mention as well. Oh, I would be going for chemistry, but think it's important to expand diversity and inclusion in schools. Absolutely, absolutely. So, again, like even if it's not an area that you're going to be teaching, but to show that you have knowledge on diverse populations, and that you are expanding your knowledge to be prepared to teach diverse learners, certainly is a wonderful thing to have on your resume. Um, Great question.
Definitely, definitely.
That would be done in addition to the MSSE. So I don't know, I don't believe any of the courses for the CGS and Africana Studies could be used toward the MSSE. So it would be, you complete the MSSE and then you would complete that in addition to likely after the MSSE. And I don't know, I think you can be enrolled into two programs at once. Is that true? Do you know if that's true?
It's I don't see the problem with that, but it's just I don't know about the timeline because
Yeah.
our program is a full-time program, and sometimes people are able to, cram in undergrad courses that they weren't able to finish, um, during their undergrad years. So I guess you could do the same thing with grad courses. If you were in social studies, there could be some cross, listing or double counting if there were like history courses in Africana studies or social science courses in Africana studies. But when it comes to chemistry, getting certified in chemistry, our grad level content area courses that are required would need to be in,
So you're a women and gender studies major. Do you have the background in chemistry, Lily, to teach chemistry to the like 36 credits in chemistry, the courses in you're a
double major.
major. There we go. Lily, I think I've spoken to you before. So I think I remember this. Yeah, so is there overlap there? Probably not, because the courses that you're taking right now are undergraduate courses. You would be then taking graduate level courses toward the, I don't know a whole lot about the Africana Studies CGS, but those would be graduate level courses. Oh, we have a meeting tomorrow. We do. Okay, let's talk about this tomorrow then too. But you have a lot of really great questions. Lily, you're the last one here, so I just wanted to say thank you for joining us. I look forward to meeting with you tomorrow. What time is our meeting? Let me just see. Is it with me or is it with Scott? I don't know.